feel what they need.
Very interesting. Any tips and advice?
I couldn't agree more with that, actually. I mean, a lot of foreign companies, especially when it comes to Japan, they want to know like what the kids are doing, you know, or they want to know what's cool, what's trendy, right? And then they hire some research company to, I don't know, like get a bunch of people in a room and ask, so what's cool? And then, and then I mean,
is this cool?
Yeah. I mean, in Japan, you'd say like, "Isn't this cool?" And I'd say, "Yeah." Like, don't you think it's not so cool? And, yeah, I think so. So, like, I mean, anyone in Japan in particular who would join a focus group already isn't your average person. So it's just like that. You have to get out on the street and talk to people. I mean, walk around, and of course, in Japan, it's not as easy to, you know, just talk to someone, but have people on the ground, right? And feel it this way. It's really the only way in the end.
Sure. Any advice?
I'll give it from the reactor point of view. Since I'm the reactor here. And my advice will come in two pieces, two parts. So one is for the planners here, or people who work with trends, is that when you are giving your findings or your your views to your creators, whether it's advertising your creative departments or when you're giving your findings or your thinking to somebody, make it simple rather than making it complicated. Because what makes a creative person really get bogged down is loads and loads of information which doesn't mean anything. So if it's culled to its bare essence, I think it can be really, really powerful and can really change things. So that's on one side. And to creators who are sitting here, I think when somebody presents to you these trends, and when your planners meet you, or your trend people meet, trend finders meet you, trend researchers, to not to act on it till you believe it, till you totally believe in it. And how do you totally believe in it? By having absolutely open ears, open mind, and really, really questioning everything that's given to you. Because I think on both sides there's huge amounts of responsibility to the amount of money the client is spending, you know. So that's one. And other advice to creators is that otherwise find a place where there are good planners. So Bates found 1 for 1, there's place there.
All right. Right, listen, at that point we'll open it up to the floor. Anybody want to ask what the trends are?
What's cool?
What do you need?
How do you kind of coordinate the stuff that you're finding with clients' kind of marketing cycles and what they're doing? Because I mean, I've been on both sides of this. I've spent time kind of telling clients about stuff that I thought they might be interested in. I've sat in rooms with people like you telling me interesting stuff, and 90% of the time, it's like, here's all the shit that's going on in the world, and you listen for an hour, and then everyone just goes off and does their job as they were doing beforehand. There's no relation to what they're actually doing at the time. I think that's, and a lot of the time clients just feel completely kind of scared by everything. So, and I think there's a danger of the whole trends industry a lot of the time being seen as a kind of fluffy part of marketing.
So the question is,
how do you make it useful?
The question is, how do you make it timely? How do you make it useful and relevant?
You can answer that as well if you want me.
I'm just the moderator.
How convenient.
If you'd like me to come to a meeting to discuss that.
Yeah. I mean, what we do at Sea Scout anyway is we try to be as down to earth as possible, and we don't use a lot of buzzwords. I know maybe lower level marketing people really like the buzzwords so they can have a fancy word to show their boss, but we really try to stay away from stuff like this and speak in English, you know. So, I mean, to find out what they're interested in, basically, I mean, we when we visit a company, it's really clear actually what they're interested in. I mean, recently there's been a lot of stuff about digital signage, in particular for Japan. And it's clear, I mean, almost everyone we meet with has some question about digital signage. And so we know when we go to our next meeting that it's probably a good idea to bring some information about digital signage in Japan, mostly interactive signage. And it evolves this way. I mean, we're finding out what the agencies want or the companies want from the other companies.
So do you have an ongoing relationship with your clients then?
Yeah.
You're going in regularly?
Well, it depends. Depends which client it is, right? But I mean, we're trying to get away from the one-shot thing.
Yeah.
What about you, Jim?
Well, every 2 months we send out these reports to everyone in Mindshare. This one's on gaming. This was sent out in April. This one's on causes in Asia, what's going on, how young people are involved with causes. It went out in June, and this is the latest one's on widgets and digital applications.
Did you send that one out? Because I've been getting a lot of widget ideas from Mindshare. I'm not joking.
Oh yeah, that's good to know.
Start charging for
That's
it.
good to know, exactly.
Yeah, seriously. And then I can charge her for citing our blog in the reports.
And we could all.
It's perfect. It's all circular.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we don't try to use jargon, and I think what I try to do in making and creating these reports is think about what's remarkable about it, not what's popular, what's fashionable. It's what's remarkable. What is it that makes people talk about these things? And I try to put that in here so that when people use it for their campaign, they think about what's in it here that they can use that will make their campaigns, turn into something viral, or, create some buzz around their campaign. The second part is I don't think trends are about predictions, so I don't try to predict into the future. I think they're about possibilities. And when you think that trends are about possibilities, the stuff that I try to put on my report, I try to make sure that these are stuff that you can springboard ideas from as much as possible.
So, just to answer your question, if you don't mind, if you want to.
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear it.
What are we doing? Bloody hell. I know. Just in terms of timeliness and so forth. We basically, for our clients, we do the same things we do for our website. So every client has their own website, PSFK, apple.psfk, target.psfk. So we're very transparent. And during a period of time, we gather information, okay? And every 2 weeks, one of the biggest issues we know is how do people use this information and create change. And it's still something that I haven't totally worked out what the answer is, and maybe I never will do. But I'm very aware, with Apple, we call in every 2 weeks and say, this is what's going on. And even though we report to them, we have a quarterly presentation to them. Every 2 weeks, we just talk about what's inspiring us. And a lot of our research is about use of tastemakers, opinion leaders, people doing interesting jobs, journalists, designers, and so forth. Some of the people we talked about today. Because of because of PSFK.com, we have a wonderful access to a lot of people. And during that 2 week call, somebody can say, "Oh, I'm interested in that," and we can find something that's relevant and timely just then and there. I'm sure these guys can do that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, we're doing a similar thing with, it's called the trend pool. So in similar, you have like apple.psfk. We have a client.trendpool.com, and it's an internal kind of trend management system, we say. But there's a lot of interaction in there, so kind of ranking of posts, and you can comment on posts and request elaboration on a specific point, or request a in-depth look at something else that they may have thought of. But it's all about kind of interacting with them in their normal working schedule.
We kind of like, it's not let's go away and come back and present. It's like,
right.
It's asked us something, we kind of, meander.
Right. I mean, the industry's changed a lot. I think 5 years ago it was a lot about you make some PDF report, and you send it in, and then you don't really even know what happens. No response is good news, actually, because it means they liked it, right? So, but it's all about interactivity now, and people are using SNS just in their personal life. If we can get them to use another one, without too much intrusiveness, then it's good. It helps the creative process.
I'm conscious we're eating into coffee. One last question. Anybody? We stunned them again. Thank you so much. I would like to thank my panelists. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, Michael. And
Thank you.